Okay, I think we can start. Laurent, Edgar, if you want. Hi, everyone. Fadi, Daniel, Violeta, Jesse. Thank you very much to join. I hope we will have a bit more people joining, but in any case, we are going to record this talk with Laurent and Edgar. This series is a new series on Urbers, which aim to help our community related to all legal issues that a creator expert can have while doing business with China. So Fedi, Daniel, Jesse, I don't know, are you all in China, or are you doing business with China as well? Okay, so let's go on. So basically, for the one who does not know what is Urbers about, I'm going to give a small explanation. Connection is terrible. Yeah, because you're in China, maybe, Jesse, and you are using a VPN. That was one limitation we were thinking that we will avoid in the future. No worry, I can hear you. That is the most important. Feel free to use the chat, guys, in case you want to ask questions, especially to Laurent and Edgar about related topics we are going to talk about. I will just to explain you a little bit about the agenda of today. We are going to have a very short introduction about Urbers for you guys to understand better our concept. Then I will introduce you to Laurent, that is one of the best French lawyers. He's working for Urbers. We have the chance to have him. And we will have our guest star, Edgar Choi, that will be talking about the different topic we have been mentioning about legal issue in China. So let me first introduce you with what is Urbers. Let me share my presentation. Okay, so basically, for those who just come for the first time, Urbers is two main things. First, Urbers is a global community of product developer, business entrepreneur, product creator that are launching new product on the market. And basically, we have also a big network of experts in the product development, and we help each other to enable creators to launch their product on the market. So we have some social network tools that you can join in the future. So Urbers is also a springboard to co-create product, brand, and service. So now we are working on a lot of different types of product, ranging from sustainable bin to mobility light vehicles to electronic product. So we have organized that in a design competition, marketplace, product launcher, and product development tools. So all that is coming in April, so stay tuned. We have also a lot of other talk. Basically, we try to cover all innovative topics in order to stimulate our community and to give them a closer idea about what is coming in terms of sustainability, product in 3D printing, edge tech, and a lot of innovative topics. Okay, so let's take a flight together, and I will leave the mic to Laurent. So maybe, Laurent, you want to introduce yourself better than I can do.
Okay, thank you, Ben. First of all, it's a privilege and an honor to be here to present the first event of this type for Uber's community. Law in a minute was a subject. In fact, it will not be law in a minute. It will be about 30 minutes of talks with our guest of today. And so if I present myself, I'm attorney at law in Paris for about 20 years now, doing some business and tax in mostly for international business, but a small-sized business. And so I work here independent and doing a lot of litigation, of course, in Paris, but also doing some negotiation and drafting of documentation in French or even in English. Today we have this exercise in 20 to 30 minutes. We would like to expose 3 questions. But first, let me introduce Edgar, which is our speaker of today. And he's also a lawyer, attorney at law in China, partner of Liangma Law Firm. I hope I have good pronunciation of it. He's native English, which is very important for people that want to build a business in China. If they don't speak Chinese language, and very rare, in fact, in China. It's extremely qualified alumni of Fudan University of law, and his partner in this office, which is about 100 lawyers, if I understand, with a wide range of expertise in different aspects of business and tax for China. The patient of Edgar is intellectual property, if I understand good, but you will tell us a little bit more about this. And he's doing some intellectual property protection and also litigation, and also corporate law. Now you are the good guy for today, Edgar, because we have 3 questions that the team prepared for you, Hubert team, and 3 thematic for today. The first one will be about kind of cooperation that foreign people can use in China, and for middle-sized project or middle-sized business. Secondly, you want to inform people about and highlight people about some question of labor law or social law, we can say. And third subject for today will be your patient, intellectual property in China, in trademark and patents. So maybe I start with, and we will have, of course, question and short answers to the end of this meeting. Just before to start, just to make a disclaimer, of course, this is only for information, for purpose of the community. It's not like if it will be an advice, legal advice. If you want an advice in law, of course, as usual, you have to give all clear information about your case in order that we can give you a very clear answer about it. Now, Edgar, I propose it's your turn to talk. And my first question about corporation law is, generally speaking, what kind of company do new investors in China choose if they want to set up a company in China, and how does it work?
Okay, hi guys. I'm gonna open my PowerPoint right now. Okay, so hold on a second. Okay. It doesn't work the way I would like it to, but maybe I'll increase the size like this instead. Okay. So 3 legal questions. We'll start with the first question. I hope you guys can hear me clearly, all right? And I hope you can see my PowerPoint well. So first, the first question that we're going to discuss in today's seminar is, what is the best type of company for foreigners to open in China? The answer to this question would be LLC, limited liability company. Okay, there are quite a few options for you to choose actually, like limited partnership, unlimited partnership, LLC. The list goes on. But if you're like new to China, the best choice for you will always be LLC, and it is always the top choice as well, top chosen choice in China. So many people ask me, so in China, when you open a company, do you need like a Chinese partner? Do you need a Chinese partner? Does it have to be like the Chinese partner has to hold more shares? Okay, these are all myths. Okay, so I'm gonna debunk them today for you. The Chinese partner is no longer needed. Okay, no longer needed. Since 2020. Okay, since 2020, we had a change in foreign investment law. So you no longer need a Chinese partner anymore. Just you. Maybe Laurent, okay? Laurent, on its own, one person only. You can open an LLC in China anytime. It's extremely easy. It's not as difficult as you think it is. Okay? So that is the first section that we're going to talk about. Moving on to our next slide. So you may also want to ask me, so how many shareholders can we have, right, for this LLC? So the answer is not more than 50, okay? 1 to 50. It can be just one person or up to 50 people. Okay, this is also pretty straightforward. And I think Laurent also mentioned that it's pretty much the same in Europe. So I hope you guys can understand this part. It's not that different, actually. It's extremely simple and, well, close to European law. So if we're talking about approval, do you need any approval, right, from the government to open a company in China? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. There is a department called the Market Supervision Administration. It was formerly called the Administration of Industry and Commerce, but they changed their name also 2 years ago. So now it's called the Market Supervision Administration. So you actually need their approval to open a company in China. But it's actually extremely simple. 99.9% of the chance they will approve it, unless you have some funky names, okay, like names of foul language with it. So of course they're not going to approve this kind of stuff. And there's also a negative list where you can't open your company. So I'm going to make a joke here, okay? So if you want to open like a nuclear warhead company in China, so of course it's not going to get approved, right? And if you open like a, you can't open a law firm in China if you're not Chinese, okay? I think people might not know about this one, so I thought it might be worthwhile mentioning. You can open a law firm, okay? You also can open.
I'm sorry.
We don't hear you, Edgar.
Edgar, I'm sorry because your microphone is you shut off your microphone. So we just.
Okay, is it working now?
Yes.
Did you hear anything at all?
We hear everything until the market supervision.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it was.
No, it was okay.
Yeah.
So there is a market supervision administration, and there is a different kind of business that you cannot do because it's dangerous, or of course for public reason they do not accept this. But generally speaking, you said 99% of business you can do it in China with no authorization or with acceptance.
Exactly.
Authorization.
You basically enjoy 99% of the same rights that, like me, a Chinese person can enjoy, okay? There's no bias whatsoever. What I can do, you could probably also do, okay? Just no nuclear warhead business. No military warplane business. Okay, so moving on to our next question here. So this is also a very popular question that people always ask me when they want to open a company in China. So do you need a registered address? Okay. So this actually varies from city to city. For example, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, these are the top tier cities. And the rules for these cities are actually rather stringent. So you gotta be careful of these cities. You actually need an office. You need to rent. It can be WeWork, okay? Doesn't matter. You gotta rent a small office if you're a startup, but you really gotta have an office. It can't be just like an internet office, okay? You gotta have an address, and the government guys may come up to check. But if we're talking about smaller cities, for example, Qingdao, okay, Dalian, these cities, they're like second tier, third tier, fourth, fifth tier cities. They don't really care, okay? So you just have to pay a fee of a few €100 per year, like maybe 200-300, okay? It's not that expensive. So you don't actually need a physical office space. It can be a virtual office, okay? That's not a big deal. So moving on to, yes, Laurent, please go.
Very interesting. So just to move on. And now for director, you need 1-2 director.
Oh, that's okay. I'll skip to this slot then, if you want to talk about directors. So in China, it is a little different here, okay? Apart from director, we have another role called a supervisor, okay? Supervisor. So the director is pretty much the same as Europe and the States. So if you want to have a board of directors, you need to have at least 3 directors. If you don't want to have a board of directors, the minimum amount of directors is 1 director, okay? And I'll explain a little bit on what a supervisor is in this kind of situation. So
do you need as a director in China, after you explain for supervisor, because it's very interesting, supervisor, because much more of corporate law, they don't get this office. But do you for a director of a Chinese company, is it important that you get an address in China, or it can be like a US address or French address or something like this?
The director can be a foreigner who is not located in China. It doesn't matter, okay? It is not that important. Yeah.
Thank you. So now try to explain us what is supervisor. What is the goal of supervision?
Okay, so this is Mr. Director here, okay? And this is Mr. Supervisor. So today, Mr. Director, he steals 1 million yuan cash from the company to buy a house for his mistress, okay? He's stealing money from the company. So what do you do?
Never
happened. So Mr. Supervisor comes in and he can sue the director on behalf of the company. His role is to supervise the director and also the general manager, okay? If the general manager does something bad, he can also sue them, okay, on behalf of the company.
Yeah. What is important? What is important in this is to understand that supervisor is not some like public authority. It's somebody which is shareholder or who is designated by the company, the shareholder.
Okay. So the supervisor does not have to be necessarily a shareholder. He can be a shareholder or he cannot be a shareholder. It doesn't matter. He can also be a foreigner. He can be Chinese. There is no restriction on it. He can be a lawyer. He can be an accountant. He can be the plumber. Okay? There is no restriction.
Okay.
Yes.
And the only power of supervisor is not to supervise the manager in day-to-day business. The role of the office or the officer is to decide to sue or not to sue a manager when he's involved in something which is wrong for the company. Am I right?
Exactly. The manager and the director. Yeah.
Okay. What about chartered accountant? Do you need a chartered accountant for a company, a Chinese company, or depending of situation?
Yes, we also have chartered accountants in China. So if you need somebody to do your tax, you need to do your accounts, right? P&L, finance sheet, balance sheet. I strongly suggest you to hire a chartered accountant or an accounting company to do this for you, because it's all in Chinese, okay? Unless you know how to do the books by yourself and you know Chinese fluently, I would suggest you to hire an accounting company. It is not expensive, okay? If you are a startup, it's only around 300 euros per year, okay? It's not expensive at all.
Okay.
It's very simple. Yeah.
Okay, and for these companies, this limited company, of course, the tax is a corporation tax. So what is there any difference in corporation tax in China, or differing? It's different in between areas, or it's the same?
Okay, this is a very good question, because actually the enterprise tax in China is not low. It's 25%. Okay, but there are some places in China that give you reduced tax zones, we call them, or tax-free zones. So where are these places? A good example would be Hainan province in China. Another good example would be Huangdao district in Qingdao. So during COVID-19, they even give you as low as only 1% of tax, okay? And they even give you free office if you're new to the place. So they have all kinds of policies to welcome you. And there's a third example would be in Qianhai, Shenzhen, in Qianhai, this Qianhai district. They also have reduced tax zones. So it's very foreigner friendly. And if you want to start up a company in China.
Okay, thank you very much. So just because we have to move on different subjects, so maybe
sure.
People which are interested in more detail in different things. But just to finish, so if we conclude, what is about, of course, when you set up a company, you have to make some bylaws, you have to maybe to get a shareholder agreement for your corporate company if there is a lot of shareholders, I suppose. And what is about the price that you have to you can estimate to set up a company in China?
So to set up a company in China, it's actually pretty cheap. It will set you back around 1,500 to 2,000 euros. Okay, so around 10,000 to 15,000 renminbi. That is okay. It is not that expensive. Yeah.
So 2,000 euro to set up your company, and and you have, because if you said with accountant, with your virtual office, it's about 1,000 by year of fees, no?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And what about the timeline when you want to set up a company? How much does it take, generally speaking, of course?
Oh, it's extremely fast in China. I'll tell you. When I set up my own company, it took me 3 days. Okay, and I have helped others set up. It takes less than a week, on average, less than 1 week. It's extremely fast here.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, our second subject of the day was employment law, and you want to prevent our public from different kind of, a lot of people think that because China wages are low, that means that there is no really rules or regulation of employment law. So can you explain us a little bit more about this?
Sure. Let's go on to labor law issues. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is social insurance in China. So this might be a little unfamiliar with you, so I'll break it down to you. There's retirement, medical and employment, injury, maternity, and the housing fund. Okay, it's made up of 6 areas, as you can see right here. So this social insurance bundle, it is mandatory for hiring any employee in China. If you hire a Chinese domestic worker, you have to pay for this for them. If you hire a foreigner in China, you also must pay social insurance for them. And the reason why I am talking about this is that the consequences of not paying for this are extremely serious, actually. So how serious is it? So number one, the employee may terminate the contract. He can fire you, the boss, effective immediately if you don't pay for social insurance. And he can ask for severance pay, okay? So it's a lot of ka-chings going out of the door. So it's very important here. And number two, if the government finds out that you haven't been paying for the social insurance and you refuse to do so, you also get fined by the government. Okay, so also more ka-chings going out the door. Yep.
Okay, and is there any difference when you want to hire foreign people or Chinese people? Do you need some administrative authorization to hire foreign people? Is there different rules for foreign people?
Yes, if you hire a foreign employee in China, it's actually pretty complicated. You have to get him a work permit and a residence permit. You got to get these 2 permits for him to legally work in China. And he can't do part-time jobs, okay? So that's the main point of concern here. And yeah, sorry, I would like to also go back a little bit on the social insurance part. So more on the ka-chings. So for example, if your employee, he's going to work on a bicycle, he gets in a car crash, you're going to pay the bills if he doesn't pay for social insurance, or otherwise insurance pays for these work injury bills. And for example, like your female employee gets pregnant, right? So she gets like 98 days of pregnancy leave. And if you don't pay for this social insurance, you're going to pay out of your own pocket for her maternity leave. Okay? That's a lot of money going out of your pocket. So yeah, just would like to talk about this issue.
I heard about the rules, and you said me that for foreign people, so you cannot get a contract for more than 5 years.
That is correct.
Yes, that's
if you sign a labor contract with a foreigner, it can't be over 5 years.
Yeah. And the question there, but it's really a question, an open question. What is about if I'm foreign people, I come in China, so I cannot work for more than 5 years. But if I take a company and I'm doing a contract of service, like I'm not hired by the company because I'm not employed, but I have my own company and working, I can work for more than 5 years. Very correct.
Well, 5 years means not longer than 5 years for one single contract. So if the company wants to hire you, let's say for 10 years, you just got to sign 2 contracts at the end of the first contract. But yeah, going back to the question you talked about.
Okay. So mean that if I adjust the maximum is 5 years by contract, but the company can take me and roll over with another contract.
Exactly. They can extend the contract.
Okay. Also, maybe I know there is what is there any? Sorry, it's not. I try to be clear. Is there any different rules or regulation when you have size, depending on the size of the company with labor law or not in China? Because in Europe, for instance, when you have more than 50 people, in France, but it's or in other part of Europe, there is some regulation that add to the small company regulation.
Okay, then this comes to our question of labor unions in China. So if you have more than 25 employees, you must set up a labor union within your company. So the difference between a labor union in, for example, the United States or Europe, is that a labor union is an outside non-profit organization that is formed outside the company. But in China, we don't have this kind of stuff. It is formed within your company. And if you have over 25 employees, you must set up a labor union.
And what does that mean? Mean that it's only one guy, which is for the labor union, or there are three, or all the employees has to be on the labor unions?
So there will be one or two representatives of the labor union. And for example, if you're opening a factory in China, right? So these employees, they will sign something we call a collective contract. And well, the poor guys, they can't really read. They're factory workers, okay? They're primary school educated, so they can't really understand the contract, right? So the representative signs this contract for them instead of you going to the 500 workers of the factory and making them sign one by one, okay? So the representative signs for them.
Thank you very much. So I think now we come to your passion, okay? We come to intellectual property. For the last part of our meeting of today, and the basic question of this is not to explain all intellectual property laws. So it's not the good timing for doing that. But my question will be what people coming in China with some new ideas, like new design or new product that they want to build, or new innovation, what you want to tell them that they have to be aware not to make the basic mistake and trick situation.
Okay, so the biggest mistake people might make here is that they believe if they have filed for a patent in their home country, they're also protected in China. The same goes for trademarks, okay? So that is actually wrong. In China, we have this principle of first come, first serve. So whoever applies first gets the patent or the trademark. So you gotta be real careful here. If you have your brand in your home country and if you're even thinking of, coming to China one day to open your franchises, or even if you're just trying to, for example, use the factory in China to make your products, I would highly, highly recommend you to trademark and do your trademarks before you contact the factory, and patents, and do your patents as well. Design patents, utility patents, invention patents. You gotta do it before you even start dealing with the factory. And while you're applying for it, you must get them to sign a confidentiality contract, an NDA, a non-disclosure contract, or else. I've heard too many horror stories of the factories. They've been stealing the trademarks of these foreign companies. So for example, when you want a factory in China to, let's say, make some mics for you, right? So they're gonna register your trademark and patent in front of you. So they'll get it. And after they get it, you won't even know. And one day when you want to ship your goods from China out back to your home country or other countries, you'll find out that it'll be detained by customs. Okay, these factories, they will actually complain to customs and say, hey, this is my trademarked product, and this guy which is you. You're the rightful owner of this product. So they'll actually confiscate your products, and you lose a lot of money, and you'll have to negotiate with the factory on, you know, how to get your own products that you paid for to, you know, ship out of China. And to buy your own trademark back, you're gonna be paying them hefty amounts of money. Okay, so you must be extremely careful here.
Yes, that's a very big big thing there, because when we see it from outside, what we say is, okay, I need to protect the trademark in China if I want to be in the market of China. But if for instance, if my trademark is French, I don't care to be protected in China, not so much. This was kind of the idea that a lot of people have. They say, okay, but I don't want anymore. I don't want anywhere to be in the Chinese market, so I don't need to protect my trademark in Chinese, especially. I just need to protect it in the market which I will get with my product. Here you get a very key question, because what you explained now is that you cannot go out from China with the production that you get, because you don't get a trademark.
Yes, so there will be infringement of your own trademark, which rightfully belongs to you. It's ridiculous, but
so
it happens.
I think it's a very big point and a very good advice for people listening today. The second thing that I would just like more detail is, okay, you want to register your trademark in China. So just same question as usual. How does it take? How much does it cost? How you do it?
Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here so you can look at it more. Oops, sorry. That's the next slide. Okay, so for invention patents, that takes around 20k RMB, which is around 3,000 euros, I guess. Okay, for utility patents, that takes around 1,000 euros. For design patents, it costs around 700 euros. Okay, for invention patents, this is just a ballpark figure. Okay, it may even take up to 10 years in some extreme cases, but on average 2.5 years. For the utility patents, it takes around 7 to 14 months. And for design patents, it's actually really fast. So people might attack you on this one because it's so easy to get, 4 months, and extremely cheap, right? And there's also one thing that I must tell you about here. So regarding application of patents in China, you can't do it yourself, okay? Even if you speak and write and listen to Chinese perfectly, you must get a government-approved patent agency to do it for you in China. So examples of such agencies would be my law firm, okay? Yes. We're registered with the government, yeah. So going on to trademarks. So the fee is around 25,000 renminbi, which would be, how many euros would that be? Around 400 euros, okay? 350, 400 euros. And it's per class. So there are around 50 classes. So if you want to do all 50 classes, of course, people will give you a discount. And below those classes, there are also categories. So you can choose 10 subclasses below one class, okay? You can choose 10 subclasses.
Okay, and classification in trademark is about the same classification in Europe, or it's different?
Yeah, pretty much the same, 90% the same, yeah.
Okay. What may be also interesting there is what you said about non-disclosure agreement with people and different things. It's now in United States and in Europe, we make a clear distinction in between two kinds of laws to protect your intellectual property, industrial property, which are you can make it secret So if you make it secret, like know-how or something that you try to get secret, it's like a business secret, okay, or something like this. And in this case, there is a law to protect the business secret. And if you want to get a registered patent or registered trademark, of course, but registered patent, the principle is you are going to disclose all the information about your innovation or about your invention. So is it the same now in China, or it's differently?
It's pretty much the same here. So just for example, if I'm Coca-Cola, okay, so my recipe, it's a secret. We will protect it under business secrets or trade secret instead of patents, or otherwise everybody would know about my formula, right? Yeah. So like restaurants as well, your recipes, all these should be classified under trade secrets instead of patents. And you would like to sign confidentiality contracts with your staff, especially the chefs and the factories. If you're getting factories to, for example, manufacture some beverages, okay?
Yeah, because the law to protect the trade secret is one of the requirements here is you try to protect it with contract, or you with your employees, but also with your partners. Is it the same in China?
Exactly, it's the same. Yeah.
Okay. So what I think that I don't get too much things to ask to you now. Thank you very much. And I let us for question and answers. Thank you very much, Edgar.
You're welcome.
So Ben, you want to take back the questions, or Violetta, maybe?
Thank you, Laurent and Edgar. I think your presentation was very, very clear, and it gave a lot of insight on how to start a business, what kind of question any business owner, so any person responsible to setting up operation in China should start with. Let's take a few questions, guys. Anyone want to have more? Camila, please.
Okay, thank you. Hi there.
Hey,
This is
Camila.
Camila. I live in Shanghai, and I have a question because I want to make a kind of partnership with a Chinese person. I have the 100% of shareholder of my company, but I'm not sure if I have a shareholder with a Chinese person. That means my company profile or my company's profile will be much better or not. For example, for the government, for Chinese government, if I renew my visa and if I pay taxes, it will be, for example, a bigger responsibility.
Okay, I'm gonna take over here first. So don't mute yourself yet, okay? Because I gotta ask you a little question first. So what is your visa now? Is it a Z visa? Do you have a work permit?
Yeah.
Is it under
I
the company? This
yeah,
company?
correct.
Okay then. Okay. So this company, it's now solely owned by you or your partner, your Chinese partner?
Actually, only by me.
Only by you. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much would you like him to get a share percentage of?
Actually, she wants 20% of the company. She's my supervisor, but she wants to be a shareholder.
Okay. So it's perfectly legal for her to be a supervisor and a shareholder at the same time. Okay. Per se.
Okay.
And 2080, that's also a extremely good framework. Okay. So there are two magic numbers that you must remember here. The first magic number is 66.7%. And the second magic number is 51%. Okay. So
yeah,
80/20. That's also a extremely good number. Do you have a bank account yet? Have you
Yeah,
registered a bank account yet? No?
I do. Yes, I do.
Yes,
With
you did.
ITBC.
Okay. If it's a 20% new shareholder, you will need to tell your bank about this change. Okay? They will need to know. Okay? Yeah.
I think one important part of the question, just to. Okay, go ahead, Laurent. Go ahead.
But Edgar, one of the question, as I understand, was, is it really better for Camila to take that there is a Chinese shareholder, or she can stay with 100% and there is no problem? As far as I understand, no problem.
Well, according to the law, no problem at all. Yeah, no problem at all. It's the same according to the law.
Yeah.
But there's one different thing here. If one day you want to sell the company, for example, it's best for you to hold 100% of it. Okay, because your partner, she may not want to sell the company, and if it's only you as the boss, you're making all the decisions. You don't need to even call any shareholders meeting before you make any decisions. But if now there are two people, so you need shareholders meeting to make some decisions. Okay.
And you also need to get a shareholder agreement, because if you want to go out with a person, this is situation which is drag along or tag along stipulation, and you need it in a special contract, because otherwise she's not going to, she can stay with 20% if you sell the company. So I suppose, Camila, but this is my point of view, okay? It's a French lawyer talking. I suppose in such situation, you have to analyze it deep before you take any decision. But what I suppose is about the law. Conclusion is that you don't need a local partner in the law. So if you don't need it, if you don't want it, do not take it.
Okay, that's good.
Camila, I think also your question was related to, as I understand, I have been living in China for more than 15 years. I'm now back in Europe for some time, soon to come back. But we know that it's getting more and more complicated as a single foreign owners to run companies in China, visa-wise. Was your question also related to, does it look better for the administration, Chinese administration, to have a Chinese partner, or to be just 100% foreign-owned companies?
Yeah, actually, I would love to keep my 100%, but as things are getting worse and worse every single day because of visas getting canceled all the time. So, of course, I think, okay, what about if I do a partnership with a Chinese colleague I have because she works like something related to the business I do. So, what about if I make a partnership that will get any kind of benefit once I apply for my visa? I know I need to declare more taxes, for example, because the company will have two people working there. So the taxes must be higher. But my question is, if I can keep it by myself, it's great. But if I have a Chinese or a local person in my company that could improve my profile when I apply for my visa.
That is correct. It would, to some extent, it would. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So in fact, if we come back to this, Camila, your question is related to visa. In fact, not really the company. The question about the company is not, the basic point. The basic point is to get a good file for visa. Am I right?
Yeah. Because I'm aware about all the process that I need to do with the bank to change the business license. Uh, yeah, to make a contract, and all the decisions must be done by both shareholders, but of course, as I am the foreigner in the company and my visa will depend on that company, I don't want to make a big mistake on it, and that my visa or my situation in China depends on that shareholder or, someone else.
One of the things that you said is not, in fact, you have two things here in your question. The first thing is, do I get a new shareholder? If you make a new shareholder in the company, meaning that you are going to transfer part of shares of the company to this new shareholder, okay? But the second way you can maybe imagine, which is to work with the Chinese as a partner, is to make that your company is one party to a partnership agreement, which is different, meaning that you want to get an associate or partner in the business of China, but get your company for you 100%. Or you can get these new people in the company inside with some shares. It's a little bit different, in fact, in the law, these two situations. Am I right, Edgar? Because
absolutely correct.
Also, a limited company in China can be one party to a partnership. Partnership is, like a joint venture agreement, like something which two parts are independent, but they are doing together business and they are going to share part of the business together.
Okay, got it. In that case, we can do, for example, a business-to-business contract, right? Instead of have a shareholder change in my company.
Maybe. And for
Okay,
tax
got it.
reason, partnership maybe not with corporation tax, income corporation tax, like it depends. This has to be analyzed with a lawyer, with a Chinese lawyer.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
How about Daniel? I see Daniel, Edward, Nathan.
Yes, it's Nathan. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please ask your question.
Yeah, I do actually. I have two questions. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Oh, good. The first one, you mentioned earlier on about the offices in specific places, right? Whereby you have to have an office for a company. My question there is, can you have an office in one company and your operation in another place? Basically, the office of being a direction, just for address. For example, that it's easier to have your offices maybe in this particular place, but in your operations or your business operations are in another place. Is that possible?
Okay, I'm gonna answer it. Okay, the mic is on. I'm gonna answer this question first. Yes, it is possible to have a different registered address and a different, per se, working address, operational address. So, for example, you can open your company in Qingdao and enjoy the tax benefit, but you're actually working in Shenzhen. Okay, you have a real office in Shenzhen and you have a virtual office registered in Qingdao. So you get the Qingdao tax, free tax policy, but you can also enjoy the international city of Shanghai or Shenzhen, so to say.
I see.
Okay? Yeah.
Right. Second question.
Edgar, on this, I can add a question.
Okay.
Most of time in Europe or in United States, if you want to register an address to some area, okay, you can have some activities in other area, but you have to have what we call substantial activity in the address. Because if you don't get substantial activity on the area where you have your registered address, this is like it's a fictive address. Is it something common in China, or in China? No, we don't talk about that.
It is very common in China. So common as in having a virtual address and a real address. Everybody does it this way. Yeah.
Okay.
It's no big deal. Yeah.
Oh. Can I carry
Except
on to my
if you're
second question?
registering in Shanghai and Beijing, okay? Stay away from the top tier cities. Stay away from those cities.
Why? Why?
Because it's more regulated. The government actually comes up and checks your office to see if you're really working there. Is there a brand name? Is your company name there? How many people are there? Is your face there? Okay, they'll come and check.
Okay, so they check you to see if your registered address is not virtual address or only it's a fake address, let's say fictive address, or fiction, or if it's real. Okay, but okay, but they don't check you if you come with a fictive address outside from Shanghai. When you work in Shanghai, you can work in Shanghai.
Of course, you can work in Shanghai, and you can
Yeah.
also work in any other city in China. Yeah.
Thank you
You
very
just
much.
have a running office operational when they come check. They'll check once, usually, only once.
Thank you very much.
My second question, if I can carry on.
Yes.
About the, I heard the lady, was it Camilla? She mentioned something about being in a Z visa, right?
Yes.
In her case, let's say, for example, if someone is in a Z visa and they want to open a company, they are already on a Z visa. For their next permanent, I mean, not permanent, residence permit, as well as their work permit, how will it be affected when they have to renew their papers in China? Will there be now a special, new papers they have to bring in, or they just carry on as normal, now that there's a company involved?
So do you mean that you're working for your own company, or you're working for a company and you want to open another company?
Basically, yes. It's true, like you are working, but you're having your own company that you just registered under. Yeah. So
Okay.
the paperwork there.
I understand what you're talking about. So if, for example, you're a chef at a restaurant, right? You have a work visa,
Yeah.
you have your residence permit. It is perfectly legal for you to open another company in any way of China. Okay? It is perfectly legal. But you cannot work there, okay? You can only work as the address stipulated on your work permit. So there's a QR code on your work permit card. You scan it, there's an address. If the police catch you working anywhere apart from that address, you're gonna get fines. You're gonna be detained even if it's serious, if they catch you doing many times. Okay? And
So,
once this black
okay.
mark is on your system, if you get fined once, it's going to strain your record. And next time when you apply for a residence permit extension, they're not going to give it to you. So it'll be bye-bye to you from China. Okay? Be very careful about
So if I do carry on to work under my Z visa, I mean, where I'm currently working, do I need to apply or renew my residence permit as well as work permit as usual, without having any effects or any other paperwork involved with the company I opened?
No, none at all.
Okay.
None at all. Yeah.
All right. That makes it easier.
Okay. So I think there is no more question. We come to 1 hour now, and I would like to conclude and thank you, Edgar. Thank you for your. I know it's a lot of time and duties to prepare such a meeting with us. I hope that everybody enjoyed it as I am. And I would like to thank also all the team of Airbus for preparing this, especially Violetta. And bye-bye and see you soon for next event, Law in a Minute.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Laurent.
you.
Thank you, Edgar. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you
Very
soon.
Thank you.
helpful. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.